Imagine waking up light years from home, but your mind is completely empty. He finds himself sealed inside a medical pod. Tubes and wires are his only companions. A robotic arm observes him closely. He cannot remember who he really is. He struggles to stand on his own feet. He waves desperately for someone to notice. He begins to explore the silent ship. He finds a female crewmate has died. The second crew member is also gone. He is the only survivor left on board. He floats through the dark and empty corridors. He looks out the window, hoping for a clue. Countless stars surround him in the void. Earth is nowhere to be found. He desperately tries to remember his past. Frustration mounts as his memory fails him. He checks the ship's complex systems. Flashes of his past life slowly return. He examines the ship's control panels. The computer reveals his dire situation. He is stranded far away from Earth. He realizes his true name is Dr. Grace. He must figure out how to save his world. He starts planning a way back home. He carefully examines the ship's navigation data. He gazes out at the infinite universe. He must face this impossible challenge alone. He moves through the ship, trying to stay calm. He calculates the remaining fuel and time. He writes down complex equations on a board. The sheer distance home feels overwhelming. He remembers a news report from Earth. A strange phenomenon was discovered near Venus. The sun's energy was mysteriously dropping. He recalls investigating the anomaly himself. He was a science teacher back on Earth. He tried to explain the crisis to his students. He told them about the strange Petrova line. His students were terrified of the future. He used simple experiments to calm them. He tried to make the complex science understandable. He worried about the fate of his world. He knew the world's best minds were working on it. He remembers the pressure of finding a solution. He tried to focus on the data. He analyzed the mysterious space dots. He knew they held the key to survival. His mind wanders back to the present. He floats through his lonely spacecraft. He prepares a meager meal for himself. He looks at old photos of his crewmates. He remembers them when they were alive. He wonders why he was chosen for this mission. He looks at a photo of his younger self. He realizes he was chosen for a reason. He remembers a conversation with a strict official. She recruited him for his unique theories. She told him he was needed to save the world. He was skeptical but couldn't refuse. She showed him his controversial research paper. She believed his ideas were the key to survival. He argued with her about his past theories. She insisted he join the special task force. He reluctantly agreed to help her. She explained the urgency of the situation. He realized the fate of Earth rested on him. He met the rest of the team working on the project. She introduced him to the top scientists. He felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. He prepared to enter the secure laboratory. He suited up to examine the alien samples. The entire team watched him nervously. He opened the secure container holding the sample. He carefully extracted a small amount of the substance. He placed it under a powerful microscope. The official watched him intently from outside. He adjusted the microscope to get a clear view. He saw the alien microbes for the first time. He confirmed that the microbes were alive. The team watched him continue his analysis. He was amazed by what he saw under the lens. He suddenly realized the sample had died. He analyzed the data to find out why. The computer showed the chemical composition. He discovered they were made mostly of water. He was shocked by this unexpected finding. He realized the microbes were thriving near Venus. The official asked him to explain his theory. He explained they used light for propulsion. He realized they were seeking carbon dioxide. He sat down to think about his next move. He knew he needed to test his new theory. He discussed his plan with the team. He convinced them to let him conduct a risky experiment. He prepared to test the microbes' movement. He walked outside to gather more supplies. He took a moment to collect his thoughts. He recalled the importance of the golden record on Voyager. He looked at the images of human evolution on board. He held a small ball symbolizing Earth. He was determined to complete his mission. He returned to the lab to continue his work. He communicated his findings to his colleague. The entire world was watching his progress. He focused intensely on his research. He went to a hardware store to buy supplies. His colleague watched him gather materials. He bought tape and foil for his experiment. He checked out at the register with his items. He explained his plan to his colleague in the lab. The official listened to his unconventional idea. He began building a makeshift testing chamber. His colleague helped him assemble the box. They covered a small room entirely in foil. He stepped inside the foil-lined room. His colleague watched him prepare the test. He placed the sample in the center. He turned on the light to see what would happen. The microbes immediately moved towards the light source. His colleague was amazed by the result. He called the official to share his discovery. He realized the microbes were drawn to light. He packed his bag, ready for the next step. This secret flight changed his life forever. He arrived at a covert military base. A commander handed him his mission gear. He quickly prepared for an urgent briefing. He entered the crowded Naval Command Center. He prepared to present his terrifying findings. He explained the new threat to Earth. Alien microbes were literally consuming the sun. The world leaders listened in absolute shock. He showed them the grim scientific data. The situation seemed completely hopeless for humanity. He proposed a daring interstellar rescue plan. The commander granted him full security clearance. They had to build a massive starship. She revealed the details of Project Hail Mary. Only one nearby star remained completely safe. They needed to find out exactly why. The journey required immense amounts of fuel. They had to breed the alien organisms. He accepted the monumental and dangerous task. The survival of Earth depended on him. He officially became part of the crew. But they planned a one-way trip. The chosen crew would never return home. He felt the heavy burden of sacrifice. Tragedy struck before they even left orbit. His crewmate died unexpectedly before the launch. He was forced to take his place. He zipped up his friend's body bag. He prepared for the lonely interstellar journey. He looked at photos of the commander. He mourned the friend who didn't survive. He placed the painful memories aside. He gently touched the cold body bag. He promised to finish the mission alone. He gathered his remaining strength and resolve. He was entirely on his own now. He accepted his grim, solitary fate. He opened the airlock to the void. He pushed his friend into deep space. He watched the commander slowly drift away. He remembered the sun they were saving. He recalled a peaceful memory on Earth. He knew exactly what he was fighting for. Sudden alarms snapped him back to reality. His ship was now far from home. He struggled to move in zero gravity. He frantically checked the external sensors. The cameras scanned the pitch-black void. A strange red light illuminated his face. He tracked the unusual glowing anomaly. The radar showed an unidentified approaching object. He pointed at the screen in disbelief. Another vessel was out there with him. He stared in absolute, paralyzing shock. He rushed straight to the control panel. He looked out and saw a massive alien ship. Its sheer size was completely breathtaking. He finally regained manual control of his ship. He gripped the joystick with trembling hands. He carefully maneuvered closer to the strangers. The two vessels aligned perfectly in space. He waited anxiously for any response. They drifted together in complete silence. The alien ship remained dark and mysterious. He closely monitored their relative distance. He hoped they were friendly travelers. He tried to send a basic signal. The alien hull showed no immediate activity. He wondered what to do next. Suddenly, a small object detached from their ship. The radar confirmed something was approaching. He rushed down to the lower deck. He needed to go outside and retrieve it. He depressurized the main airlock chamber. He quickly put on his bulky spacesuit. He slowly opened the outer hatch. He stepped out into the freezing vacuum. He clung tightly to his ship's hull. He climbed carefully across the metal surface. He moved towards the designated drop zone. The massive alien ship loomed right above him. He lowered himself on a safety tether. He found the strange alien artifact waiting. He brought it inside his testing chamber. He remembered his team's earlier preparations on Earth. They had actually anticipated this exact moment. He knew exactly what protocols to follow. He secured the alien cylinder safely. He looked out at the distant stars. He moved back to the main laboratory. He prepared his advanced diagnostic tools. He set up a completely clean workspace. He checked the device for dangerous radiation. The scanning confirmed the artifact was safe. He used remote robotic arms to examine it. He carefully opened the intricate alien device. He was absolutely amazed by the contents. It contained a complex 3D star map. He compared their map with human charts. He finally understood their true stellar origin. He decided to craft a physical reply. He built a model of our solar system. He wanted to show them Earth's location. He checked their relative position on screen. He returned to the airlock with the model. The dark alien ship still waited patiently. He hoped they would understand his message. A mechanical tunnel extended towards his ship. They were clearly inviting him to cross over. He prepared himself for formal first contact. He stared down the dark alien corridor. He put his helmet back on securely. He stepped into the connecting mechanical tube. He slowly crawled across the empty void. The alien materials felt completely foreign to touch. He reached their outer airlock door. He found a strange glowing control panel. He cautiously touched their unique interface. A hidden door suddenly slid open. He stared into the bright interior light. He stepped inside the alien vessel. He found another metallic block on a pedestal. He picked up the strange device carefully. A tiny mechanical figure suddenly popped out. What if humanity's last hope lay with an alien? Grace stared at the strange mechanical anomaly. It hovered right outside his window. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. So he geared up to investigate. A massive alien vessel loomed outside. It had physically attached to a station. Monitors confirmed this completely insane connection. Two completely different ships were joined together. He drifted through his empty station, searching for answers out in space. He checked the ship's vital systems. Everything seemed stable on the outside, but danger was lurking very close. A sudden pressure alarm flashed brightly. He had to move extremely fast, crawling into the dark connection tube. His flashlight revealed an alien surface. He pointed his beam toward the dark, hoping to find some signs of life. A camera fed footage back inside. He held up a food sample, trying to offer a peaceful gesture. Floating debris filled the dark gap. He peered closer through the fragile barrier. A bright light suddenly shined back. Someone was indeed behind that wall. Grace held his breath in absolute awe. He finally saw the alien creature. It looked like a giant rock spider. The creature abruptly lunged right forward. Both of them were equally terrified. Grace raised his hands in surrender. The alien retreated into the shadows. He realized it meant no harm. He noticed strange blue markings on it. It was wearing some sort of suit. The creature stayed behind the glass. Grace carefully studied his new neighbor. They were separated by fragile walls. The barrier was thick and cracked, but they needed to exchange information. He examined a strange metallic gift. Then he showed a complex molecule model. The alien observed the intricate object. He waited for a response patiently. The creature seemed to understand him. He briefly returned to his ship. His mind raced with new possibilities. The alien started communicating using lights. They were building a crude language. Grace hurried back down the tunnel. The alien was working on something. He took off his heavy helmet. He felt safe with his companion. He prepared to decode these messages. He needed to show human concepts, like physics, math, and basic time. The alien watched his movements closely. He used a tape measure carefully. It grasped the human math quickly. It was an incredible scientific breakthrough. The alien started crafting tools too. It showed Grace a metal model. It looked like a primitive clock. Grace was amazed by its intelligence. They were finally understanding each other. The alien proudly displayed its device. It was a perfect clock replica. Grace pointed to the ticking hands. They had established a time reference. This was the key to translation. Grace looked through the cracked glass. They were ready to converse properly. He smiled brightly at his friend. He set up a translation program. His laptop analyzed the alien chords. He used a custom clock dial. The creature learned human vocabulary rapidly. Grace recorded every single sound emitted. The alien responded with musical notes. The translation software worked absolutely perfectly. They could now form actual sentences. They discussed the deadly space algae. Grace explained the threat to Earth. The word astrophage appeared on screen. The creature knew exactly what it was. They worked together to find solutions. The bond between them grew stronger. But then the alien shared tragedy. Its crew of 23 had died. Grace felt a deep, sudden sorrow. He took off his glasses slowly. He realized they shared the pain. The alien mourned behind the glass. Grace tried to offer some comfort. He signaled that they were together. The alien tapped on the glass. The translation software read fist bump. It was a touching, profound moment. Their two ships floated in harmony. They continued to share their knowledge. The alien built an elaborate map. Grace mapped out the human galaxy. They discussed their home planets passionately. They even shared some light-hearted jokes. Grace laughed with his alien friend. The silence of space felt warmer. He waved at his new companion. The alien waved its metallic arm. It was time to get back. He pushed himself through the tunnel, floating effortlessly in zero-gravity space. He headed back to his quarters. He looked back one last time. He felt exhausted but incredibly hopeful. He closed his tired eyes to rest, while his friend kept watch nearby. Memories of Earth began to surface. He remembered the massive aircraft carrier, where this desperate mission was planned. Scientists worked tirelessly to save humanity. He recalled his former crewmates clearly. They had sacrificed everything for this. Now he held Earth's fate alone. A mysterious threat doomed our entire planet. Grace studied the deadly astrophage. He found a tiny sample. The crew observed the test. It survived incredible heat. The situation seemed truly hopeless. They needed a desperate plan. He prepared for the mission. Grace launched into deep space. He soon encountered another vessel. An alien ship hovered nearby. He brought the alien aboard. The creature looked like a spider. He called his new friend Rocky. They communicated through thick glass. Rocky lived in severe heat. Grace learned the alien language. They shared their tragic stories. Both their sons were dying. Rocky had advanced engineering skills. They built a shared workspace. They shared meals across the divide. Rocky offered his own food. It looked absolutely disgusting. Grace explained human biology. Rocky explained his dark world. They tracked the astrophage line. They had to find answers. Rocky explained his ship's design. His entire crew had died. Radiation killed his friends. Grace felt incredibly sorry. They formed a joint plan. They needed a biological sample. Grace recorded his progress. They approached the alien star. Tau City came into view. Grace prepared for orbital entry. He missed his home planet. He showed Earth to Rocky. Rocky was fascinated by it. Rocky talked about his mate. They bonded over lost loves. They were two lonely saviors. The mission seemed so long. He remembered the goodbye party. His crewmates had been happy. Now they were all gone. He carried their legacy alone. He recalled his past life. He used to teach kids. He loved explaining science, but he was chosen for this. He had to be brave. The woman believed in him. He accepted the heavy burden. Earth's fate rested on him. He promised to return, even if it meant death. He would never back down. She gave him hope. He left everything behind. The crew celebrated their launch. They toasted to Earth's survival, but the danger was real. They faced terrible odds. She sang a goodbye song. The commander watched intently. Grace felt the incredible weight. They tried to stay positive. Her voice echoed in his memory. He cherished these moments. Now he was light years away. He had to focus now. He couldn't let them down. He prepared for the spacewalk. The green planet loomed. Tau Ceti was beautiful. He deployed the collection chain. Rocky monitored the systems. Astrophage filled the space. It was incredibly dense. They navigated the dangerous cloud. The ship shook violently. Alarms blared everywhere. They secured the vital sample. They pulled away from danger. Grace climbed back inside. Rocky helped secure the airlock. They had finally succeeded. They studied the new sample. Grace isolated the microbes. He tested their properties. He looked through the microscope. He found a predator. It ate the astrophage. This was the cure. Rocky rejoiced with him. They had saved their worlds. But they needed more. They had to breed them. They created a breeding chamber. The microbes multiplied fast. Their plan was working. Rocky prepared the return probes. He packed them carefully. The probes were ready. Grace faced a hard choice. He could go back home. Or he could help Rocky. Rocky's ship needed help. He made his final decision. He would save his friend. He sent the probes away. Earth would be saved. Now they went to Arid. They traveled together. Grace lived on the alien world. He taught alien children. He missed Earth sometimes. But he had no regrets. He had saved two civilizations. A true hero's journey. His name would live forever. Across the endless stars. But a strange miracle awaited him. He wasn't entirely alone out there. An alien engineer became his companion. They shared a truly unique bond. Two completely different species working together. Ryland felt a profound connection growing. He couldn't hold back his tears. He pressed himself against the glass. Sharing a silent hug with Rocky, it was a deeply emotional farewell. Then, painful memories resurfaced once more. He remembered the ruthless Commander Strat. She was preparing the original crew. Everything seemed to be going perfectly, until a catastrophic accident occurred suddenly. A massive explosion ripped through the facility. The blast wave knocked everyone down. The primary science team was killed. Back in the dangerous present moment, Ryland had to execute a risky maneuver. He steered into a hostile atmosphere. They needed to collect alien microbes. He carefully controlled the ship's descent. He lowered the specialized collection probe. The device plunged into the storm, hoping to gather the vital samples. But something went terribly wrong outside. He had to perform an emergency spacewalk. Ryland ventured out into the void. The environment was incredibly hostile here. He struggled against the intense pressure. Every movement required immense physical effort. Rocky watched him with great concern. Sparks flew as the hull took damage. Ryland clung desperately to the ship. He managed to secure the loose equipment. The ship continued its perilous flight. He slowly made his way back, pulling himself along the safety tether. The collector was finally retrieved safely. He grabbed the precious biological cargo and hurried toward the airlock entrance. The danger was far from over. The ship was taking a severe beating. He quickly climbed back inside, exhausted but relieved to be alive. But another crisis immediately presented itself. A fuel tank suffered a critical breach. He had to detach the damaged section. Rocky frantically monitored the ship's systems. Ryland rushed to the pilot's seat. He rapidly punched in emergency commands. Rocky communicated the dire structural warnings. They had to initiate a high-speed spin. Rocky braced himself in his enclosure. Ryland engaged the centrifugal gravity system. The alien awaited the intense forces. The ship began to rotate violently. The G-force quickly reached dangerous levels. He fought against the crushing weight, struggling to maintain consciousness any longer. The immense pressure was too much. His vision began to tunnel and blur. The gravity system fully locked in. He barely managed to hit the switch. The console sparked and completely shattered. The ship stabilized its new orbit, but Ryland was completely passed out. He slumped motionless in his chair, floating in the silent, dark cabin. The vessel drifted through the cosmos. Inside, the lights flickered and died, leaving everything in eerie, cold shadows. The silence stretched on for hours. Rocky remained perfectly still inside. A grim memory invaded Ryland's coma. He recalled the aftermath of the explosion. Strat had summoned him to a meeting. The primary crew was dead or injured. He realized they wanted him to go. He desperately refused the suicide mission. He argued that he wasn't an astronaut. He was just a cowardly science teacher. But Strat wouldn't accept his refusal. She looked at him with cold determination. She knew he possessed the needed knowledge. He begged her to find someone else. He didn't want to die in space. But he had no other choice. He was forcibly drafted into saving humanity. The heavy burden of memory faded away. Ryland finally opened his eyes. He found himself in the medical bay. He weakly pulled himself out of bed. His body ached from the intense G-forces. He stumbled through the dark corridor. He needed to check on his friend. But a horrifying sight awaited him. Rocky's Zenonite enclosure was completely shattered. The alien lay motionless among the shards. Ryland stared in absolute, silent shock. His only companion appeared to be dead. The isolation suddenly felt incredibly crushing. The ship drifted aimlessly in orbit. How could the indestructible Zenonite break? He sat down, overwhelmed by grief. He picked up a small metal model, a tiny reminder of their shared journey. He looked at Rocky's lifeless form. He needed to understand what had happened. He placed a sample under the microscope. The terrifying truth was finally revealed. The microbes had evolved to eat Zenonite. They had consumed Rocky's protective barrier. Ryland hung his head in despair. His attempt to help had killed Rocky. He was truly alone in the universe. He sat by the broken glass, staring at the remains of his friend. He imagined trying to talk to him, but no musical chords answered back. He had to finish the mission alone. He had to save Earth by himself, even though it meant losing everything else. He closed his eyes, accepting his fate. But death was not his final end. Exhausted, he leaned against the cold glass. Slowly, he opened his weary, heavy eyes. Trying to shake off the deep sleep, he reached out to his strange companion. The Rocky alien was still right there. They had survived the perilous, long journey. He inspected the alien ship's containment pods. Their alien technology was fully operational now. Now they could finally head back home. The joined ships drifted through deep space. A small celebration was certainly in order. Rocky even wore a funny little hat. He celebrated their success with his friend. He held out a small, precious gift. It was a tiny model of Earth, a lasting token of their deep friendship. He cherished these final moments with Rocky, but his curiosity soon took over him. He explored the alien ship's dark interior. The strange architecture surrounded him entirely. He carefully examined the complex, foreign structures, moving deeper into the dark, metallic tunnels. The alien design was completely foreign to him. Then a memory from Earth surfaced vividly. He was back in a tense meeting, listening to the stubborn project director speak. She insisted on the grim, necessary reality. Humanity's survival required a terrible, heavy sacrifice. He couldn't accept the immense moral burden. He firmly refused to take the job. He put on his beanie to leave. The crushing weight was simply too much. She calmly tried to reason with him, but he wouldn't listen to her anymore. He argued with the staff in frustration. She just watched him storm out angrily, knowing what she had to do next. He desperately tried to flee the facility, but security guards quickly tackled him down. They forcibly sedated him on the ground. The dark memory faded back to reality. He floated alone in his present ship. He returned to his rocky alien companion. He looked at his friend very sadly, knowing they must soon part ways forever. It was a very difficult, painful truth. He praised the alien's incredible, selfless bravery, but Rocky didn't fully understand the sentiment. They shared a silent, heavy moment together. Their bond was truly unbreakable by now. He slowly prepared to leave the ship, walking down the long, cold connecting tunnel. He turned back for one last look. He waved a final, heartfelt, sad goodbye. Stepping back into his own human vessel, the alien watched him disappear from view. Alone again in his transparent, quiet enclosure, their ships prepared to detach completely now. Floating separately in the vast, empty void, he settled heavily into his pilot's seat, strapping in for his long journey back. Memories of Earth's water flashed by quickly. He remembered the warmth of the sun, the familiar faces of his old life. Suddenly, a blaring red alarm interrupted him. A critical emergency disrupted his peaceful thoughts. The ship's systems were failing very rapidly. He quickly checked the damaged, vital components. He examined a sample of alien microbe. It was eating through the spaceship's material. He checked the camera feeds in panic. The fuel was leaking out everywhere now. He realized the alien ship was doomed. Rocky's life support would soon fail completely. Without his help, his friend would die. He paced the small room in thought, calculating the intercept trajectory frantically and desperately. He had to make a terrible choice. He prepared a small probe container carefully. This would carry the cure back home. He recorded a final message for Earth. He launched the tiny lifesaver into space. Then he altered his own ship's course, turning back towards his stranded alien friend. He calculated the new, risky flight path. He wouldn't let Rocky die all alone. He pulled the lever to turn back. The large ship rotated slowly around completely, racing back through the dark, cold expanse. He entered the dark, familiar connecting tunnel, searching for any sign of alien life. He approached the dark, stranded alien vessel. He looked through the thick, scratched glass. He maneuvered through the dark, silent corridors, hoping he wasn't too late to help. He spotted Rocky inside the dark room. He tapped urgently on the clear barrier. Rocky was slumped and barely moving now. He placed his hand on the glass. The alien stirred slightly at his touch. A recording played his commander's old voice. She explained the truth of his mission. He listened to the final, recorded message. She knew he would make this choice. Meanwhile, Earth safely received the small probe. The vital cure had finally arrived home. They retrieved the container from the ice. He watched a new alien sun rise. He was safe on Rocky's home planet. He woke up in a comfortable bed. Years passed in this strange, beautiful place. He looked out at the foreign sea. Rocky joined him down by the shore. They enjoyed the peaceful, foggy alien morning, watching the dark alien waves roll in. They sat quietly on the rocky beach. He told Rocky the incredibly good news. Earth was safe thanks to their sacrifice. The alien listened to his human friend. Their incredible journey was finally complete now. He turned to his dear alien friend. Walking together along the strange, beautiful coastline, He found peace in his new life. Now a teacher on an alien world. Wondering who he teaches out here, he proudly applauds his alien students.